Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Yasmin Ahmed, and today's we will start with our new chapter that is about the special senses. And you people must be familiar about the special senses. There are 5 types of special senses, and first we will study about the air, and air is involved in the sense of hearing. Okay, so you can see the picture of air, the whole organization. The air organ basically is involved in the hearing, and it's also involved in the balance as well. It's supplied by the 8th cranial nerve, that is known as the vestibulocochlear nerve, and the cochlear part basically is stimulated by the vibration that is caused by the sound waves. Okay, and you can see the air has 3 parts: the outer air, the inner middle air, and the inner air. And with the exception of this auricle, you can see the outer part, the pinna. The structure that form the air are involved, or you can see are encased within the petrous portion of temporal bone. You can see the bony part around the middle and the inner ear ends. The outer ear basically collects the sound waves and it directs them to the middle ear, and from middle ear, which in turn transfer to the inner ear, where they are converted to the nerve impulse and finally transmitted to the hearing area in the cerebral cortex. So now we can classify this ear into 3 parts, as I'm telling you that it has 3 parts. The outer part consists of the auricle and the pinna, exposed part, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Middle ear contain the important 3 ossicles. By movement of these 3 ossicle bones, stapes, inscus, and medius, there's vibration is produced in the fluid. The fluid is present in the different compartment. You will see it later on, and the sense of this vibration is being sent into the major organ of corti, and from there the nerve cochlear portion is sent to the brain, from where we can perceive that sense of hearing. Okay, the inner ear has further 2 parts. It has the bony labyrinth and the membranous labyrinth. And the first we can see in the bony labyrinth, it has vestibule and the cochlea and 3 semicircular canals. We will later study about these 3 semicircular canals. Okay, and in the membranous labyrinth there is network of delicate tubes that is filled with the endolymph, comprises the vestibule that contain the utricle and saccule. Okay, now we will study about the cochlea. Cochlea basically it has the inner portion. It has 3 compartments: scala vestibuli, scala media, and media is also known as the cochlear duct, and the scala tympani. You can see the organization. You can further study basically about this organization from the anatomy lectures. Okay, this is a cross section in which we can say that bony cochlea has 2 compartments containing the perilymph, and that you can see the scala vestibuli that originates from the oval window, and the scala tympani is ends at the round window. These 2 compartments are continuous with each other. In this picture you can see the cross section in which you can see the upper part is the scala vestibuli, the middle is scala media, and the lower is scala tympani. And these 2 compartments are basically continuous with each other. In the other diagram you can see the lower part is known as the basilar membrane, and this basilar membrane is also affected by the vibration of that sound waves. Now we will see what is the physiology of hearing. Every sound that is produced, these sound waves or the vibration in air is traveling at about 332 meters per second. So the outer air collects and concentrates the waves and direct them along the auditory canal, causing the tympanic membrane to vibrate. And this tympanic membrane is known as the eardrum. जो आप लोगों को कहा जाता है कान का पर्दा is known as a tympanic membrane. Okay, from in this picture you can see this, again I'm telling you that you can appreciate about the oval window and the round window. In the middle section, outer air is on the left side, middle air is in the center, and on the right extreme side in the picture you can see about the inner air. In the middle air you can see about the three ossicles, malleus, incus and stapes. And upper part of this picture you can see the oval window, and the lower you can appreciate that round window. And we have just studied that the scala vestibuli originates at the oval window and scala tympani ends at the round window. So in the physiology of hearing, we again say that the sound causes the vibration of the tympanic membrane, and the vibration is transmitted and amplified by the ossicles. Ossicles move, these three ossicles, these three bony structure moves, and the foot plate of the stape, the last portion that is connected to the hook like structure you can see in the diagram, that is known as the foot plate of stapes, that transmit the vibrations to the perilymph of scala vestibuli through the oval window. Pressure is transmitted to the cochlear duct in the middle scala media. You can see this picture again when the sound waves is passed or it is transmitted, this type of movement in the ossicle happens. This is the round the left sided portion. The round part is known as the tympanic membrane. Then there is the malleus bone, incus, and then the last portion, this hook like structure to involved to the inner spiral organ is known as the stapes. So this causes basically the motion of the movement of the endolymph and causing the vibration of basilar membrane, the lower part of the basilar membrane, and from there the auditory receptors are being stimulated. The fluid waves in the perilymph, I'm telling you it again, the fluid waves in the perilymph of scala vestibuli and tympani causes the wave motion in endolymph, and so there would be stimulation of auditory receptors in the hair cell of organ of Corti, and the nerve impulse passes to the brain in cochlear portion of the vestibular nerve. So the nerve transmit impulses to the auditory nuclei in the brain. You can see in this picture there is the movement showing the repolarization and depolarization. In the resting position it is in this state, and when the sound wave is produced it is depolarized in the upward motion, and there is repolarization phase. Before we start with the sound waves, we can tell that the nerve transmit the impulses to the auditory nuclei and medulla, where they synapse before they are conducted to the auditory area in temporal lobe of cerebrum. So some of the fiber crosses over in the medulla and the other remain on the same side, and the right and left auditory areas of cerebrum receive impulses from both ear. Okay. Now we will see about the sound waves. Sound waves basically have properties of pitch and volume is also known as the intensity. So volume basically depends on the magnitude of sound waves, and it's measured in decibel. So the greater amplitude of the wave created in endolymph, the greater is stimulation of auditory receptor in the hair cell and in the organ of Corti. And the pitch is basically determined by the frequency of sound waves, and it's measured in hertz. and sounds of different frequencies stimulate the basilar membrane at different places along its length, allowing the discrimination of pitch. You can appreciate this volume and pitch, amplitude, and the frequency through these diagrams. Okay, now we will see about the physiology of balance. Physiology of balance, there is a part in the air known, we have just studied in the starting, semicircular. There are 3 semicircular canal present that is involved in the physiology of balance. Basically, organ concerned with the balance is basically semicircular canal, and the other is vestibule, together utricle and saccule together known as the vestibule. So the semicircular canals have no auditory function, but they are closely related to the cochlea. You can see these are closely related to the cochlea, and it provides information about the position of head in the space, contributing to the maintenance of posture and balance. In this picture on the extreme right side, you can see the spiral organ known as the cochlea, and in the middle you can see the utricle part, dilated, and saccule part. Together, the utricle and saccule is known as the vestibule. The upper dilated portion is known as the ampulla of anterior semicircular canal, and from there you can see the extensions of that vestibular nerve, and the other from the cochlea there is the cochlear nerve extension. So the hearing is in the process of hearing, cochlea is involved, and in the process of balance and posture, these semicircular canals are involved, and the vestibular nerve have connection with this semicircular canal, and the cochlear nerve have connection with this sense of hearing. So together these two are consisting of these two nerves make up the vestibulocochlear nerve, the 8th cranial nerve. Okay, there are 2 types of receptor for the balance. First one is the macula, that is present in the utricle and saccule. It detects basically the linear movement, the straight movement. It detects the linear movement. And there is second is the receptor known as the crista ampullaris. It present in the ampulla, the dilated end of semicircular canals, and it detects the rotational movement. I am showing you this picture again, that you can see in the middle of this picture there is a utricle and saccule dilated portion together known as vestibule, and there is the macular receptor present on these, and the other is crista ampullaris, and that receptor is present in the ampulla of anterior semicircular canal. So the macula is involved in detection of the linear movement, and the crista ampullaris detects in the rotational movements. Okay, you can see this 2 diagram differentiating, in which the first one in the lady is in the resting state, and when she is in a resting state, the hair bundles are aligned straight, and the stationary section of the crista of horizontal canal, and when that lady is revolving around, there is the movement of those hair cells and hair bundles. You can see from where she is moving, from right to left or from left to right, there would be movement of that hair bundles and these hair cells. Okay, the change of position of head basically causes the movement of perilymph and endolymph, which stimulates the sensory receptors in utricle, saccule, and ampullae. And the nerve impulse are transmitted to the vestibular nucleus. I have just told you about it, that vestibular nucleus is concerned with the balance, and then finally to the cerebellum, and then cerebellum also receive nerve impulses from the other sides as well, like the eyes and proprioceptors, and it provides information about the body position, body posture, and also helps in maintaining upright posture, and it fixes the eyes on the same point independently of the head movement. So I'm showing you it again, that this is the stationary and the resting state. The lady is standing and there is no movement, and when the lady is rotating, there would be the movement of perilymph and endolymph, and from that the receptors in the utricle, saccule and ampullae are stimulated, and then finally the nerve impulses are transmitted to the vestibular nucleus, and from vestibular nucleuses they are transmitted to the cerebellum. Okay, that's all about for today's lecture. Thank you so much.